you have discovered through the expansion of the internet world. I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. We're going to be talking about your life, my life, and the world today. So sit back, relax, grab something if you need it, and let's do this. All right, everybody, Johnny Allen of the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. You probably wonder what happened to me. I took a hiatus for quite a while. I haven't been doing this podcast very often for a couple reasons. Been really super busy. I'll explain a little bit of that. And, you know, when I started this thing about 4 years ago, actually about 6 or 7 years ago with a friend of mine from Las Vegas, the podcast thing was just starting to ramp up back then. 7-8 years ago, probably 8 years ago now, and now we go to 2025, and everybody and their brother has a podcast. I mean, everybody has a podcast, and this podcast thing is so saturated, and my little platform gets buried in the podcast pool, right? I'm down at the bottom, and you know, that's okay, but I don't do it too much, and I thought that even at one point I thought I would just go ahead and give this thing up, but there's been a few people out there saying, hey, John, what happened? So I'm back after a little hiatus. It's been several months, I guess. I had to sort through some things. In case you guys don't know, I lost my dear beloved mother January 5th of this year, and actually getting ready to do the cemetery gravesite service this weekend coming up on the 21st of June. So that kind of set our whole family back quite a bit. It's still heartbreaking, that my mother's gone. It happens though, doesn't it? We're born, we live, and then we die. There's nothing we can do about that, right? Life is very short. I've done back episodes, podcasts talking about how time goes by fast and how to cherish each other, because time does really go really, 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 really fast. And before you know it, the people that are around you, they're dying and they're gone, and things change. Things never stay the same, do they? Things constantly change. Look at this world today. Look at what's happening right now in the world. I've talked about this many, many times before. It gets more chaotic by the minute. I'm not going to get into the political part of it. I'm not going to blame President Trump. I'm not going to blame, anybody for the problems that are going on in the world. It's just what's going on in the world, and it's been this pot has been boiling for a long time, and it started many years ago, and it really started in 2020 when we had COVID, that whole COVID attack, and that's basically what it was. Back then when COVID came out, and I had to back up a little bit, I worked in healthcare for many years. I seen all of it. I worked during the COVID pandemic back 5 years ago. Seen all of it, heard all of it, and from day one I knew that it was a biological weapon that was manipulated to put into the system. I had a lot of backlash back then when I said that, but it's come to be true now. I don't like to pat myself on the back too much, but I'll pat myself on the back on that one. Usually there's a lot of things. Am I correct about everything? No. Is anybody correct about everything? No. Is anybody perfect? No, I'm not. But I was correct about a lot of things, and that being one of them. And we'll just drink to that. I drink coffee on this little 30-minute podcast, in case you've never seen me before. And today, I'm drinking the Old Maxwell House. We'll talk about the coffees here in just a second. But getting back to the world situation that's going on now, it's been brewing for a while. It's nothing new, but just hang on, guys, because it's not over yet. There's going to be more chaos getting ready to happen. You got people being paid to do certain things. I'm not going to get into it. You got people being paid to tear stuff up. It's just radical. What I do with my little mellow self, because I'm just this little middle class, probably lower middle class income white man who is an independent thinker, I'm an independent voter, I'm an independent thinker. I think logically. I try to just give everybody a fair shake. I'm just an average guy. I'm just trying to make it through day by day. I don't judge people. I don't like violence and hate. I don't like people clowning on other people for no reason. I don't like people assuming things without having true information to back that up. And that's a lot of misinformation out there today, guys, on both sides. I have this discussion once in a while with my daughter. But it is true. There's a lot of misinformation. You can't believe everything you read, you see, you hear. What I do, basically, I look at what's going on everywhere, from all sources, from every place, and then I just try to put it all together and think logically about, okay, why is this happening? Why is that happening? What's really behind the scenes of what's going on? Because if somebody says, hey, look, there's John's hand. He's got 5 fingers. Okay, yeah, that's true. But we want to get into detail of the 5 fingers. Like this finger here has a scar from 40 years ago on it, right? This hand is a 61-year-old hand. It has various wrinkles. You know, so I try to dive in and get to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on in the world and what's really going on in our lives, right? And what the governments of the world are trying to do. I look at that. But at the same time, I don't consume myself too much with it, because you can bombard yourself with all this negative energy and all this terrible stuff that you're not going to live a quality life. And we got to live a quality life because, like I just said 5 minutes ago, it's too short. So live a quality life. Try not to let these bad things bother you too much. Be aware of what's going on. You don't want to be blindsided, but at the same time, don't be so consumed to where you can't sleep at night. You're just so hung up on you're being bombarded by all this negative news and all this stuff, garbage out there that you just, and you can't live. And you can't just relax and drink a cup of coffee and enjoy it. Now we're going to talk about coffee. So as you guys know, if you followed me for all these many years, I don't endorse anything on this podcast. I don't get paid for squat, right? Nobody pays me any money. I make no money on anything. It seems like my music. Anyway, that's another thing. But I don't endorse any of these products. I just share what I like. So this company right here called Pilgrim. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, Nora. I ordered this coffee a while back. They're from the West Coast, Washington State. The reason why I ordered this coffee, you could thank like one of the news outlets, I think ABC or somebody. Anyway, one of the news outlets had an article about this coffee in the coffee shop that serves this coffee. And what the article was is that they had a lot of protesters. This was back several months ago, I think in April. They had a bunch of protesters boycotting this coffee company for this reason. Okay, it seems like there's only somebody boycotting something or writing against something or blah, 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 blah. I wish people just mellow out. And you know, somebody told me, a wise man told me, that if you want to riot and you want to protest, do it at the election booth. Do it at voting time. Vote who you want to vote in, you know. But anyway, it's a whole different thing, you know. But anyway, this coffee company got a bad rap because they were going to do a free coffee day for the police officers and the veterans. That was it. They were going to do, hey, free coffee this morning. We're giving our veterans and our first responders free coffee. Well, some people didn't like that and felt like that a certain group was being not included in that, which I don't know what that circumstance is. But all they were simply doing was saying, hey, this one day, we're going to set aside and give free coffee to the veterans and to the first responders. Well, another group got mad about that and protested and wanted to shut down their coffee company. And they've been friendly to everybody, right? They let anybody in there no matter what. This one particular day, they were going to serve the coffee to the police officers and the first responders. They didn't like it, so they tried to boycott and shut the place down. And I felt real sorry for them. I thought, well, man, this is coffee company. So you know what? I immediately went out and paid too much money and ordered this coffee from them. So it actually drummed them up some business by the negativity. I thought, that's just crazy, And like I said, I don't care what you believe, what you stand for, or whatever, but everybody needs to be on a balanced playing field, right? Let's have a little balance. And I've preached this so many times. But anyway, I tried this coffee out because I, felt sorry, I felt bad for them. And it's actually pretty good. It's really good coffee. Now we'll go down the list and start talking about. Also, it had some Cracker Barrel coffee last time we talked, and some other coffees in there. They're all really good. Cracker Barrel is really smooth, actually. I know they're a chain, but anyway, that's the coffee thing. Now we'll go back to the COVID thing. As I just said, I worked healthcare for over 20 some years. I got the Moderna shot. I had, and I'm not going to call it the jab. I'm going to call it what it is. I got the Moderna COVID vaccine back in 2020 because I had to, because healthcare workers were threatened that if we don't get it, we get fired. I had to have my job, so I got it. And at the time, I thought, I want some protection because I was feeding into all that. The bottom line is, it really didn't do me any good. I ended up getting COVID like 4 times. I was in the hospital for 4 days because of COVID, and had eye problems, and I had all kinds of problems, and I won't get into all that because I don't have time. I can sit here for an hour and tell you about all my problems, and you guys probably don't care about that anyway. But anyway, I did have a lot of problems, and all came down to COVID. I've had like 4 doctors finally tell me that, hey, all these problems you're having, John, is COVID. I got an underlying autoimmune disease ramped up because of COVID. And my poor mother that just passed away, she had an underlying autoimmune disease. And you can see the pictures. You can actually see the actual photographs from 2020 to 2025. Her health declined big time. You can see in the photographs where she lost weight. She got frail. Lots of problems were happening with her. And before that, her autoimmune disease was in check. She lived many, many years. All of a sudden, after she got the vax, she never got COVID, but she got the vaccines. And that we know of. And her health declined, and it caused her death, I think, 2 or 3 years prematurely. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. There's lots of people in my family that believe that have been in healthcare for many years and studying. Now, I've been told that I got by doctors, not by just somebody saying it, by doctors have told me that I have long haul COVID caused by that. I also have autoimmune disease. So what I try to do to counter that, and again, I do not sponsor, and these people don't pay me money. I do my own research because doctors just scratch their head and they say, oh yeah, John, your blood pressure's up a little bit, and your triglycerides might be up a little bit, cholesterol and all that. And it's all caused by autoimmune diseases. But anyway, I did my own research, and this has been helping me. I heard this on the radio. If you got problems with COVID, and like I said, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not telling you take this stuff, it's going to cure you, any of that stuff. I'm just saying what helps me, right? So again, I am not a doctor. I don't endorse these products. I'm just taking this on my own. This is helping me. This is helping me a lot right here, guys, with the spike proteins, getting those out of my body caused by COVID. So anyway, if you're interested, check this company out. Like I said, I don't endorse them. It's working for me. That in conjunction with, again, Chuck Norris's Roundhouse Morning Kick. Got probiotics and stuff in it. The only thing about this that I found is that it does give me a little bit of heartburn if I'm careful. I got to be careful with taking a lot of it because it will give me some heartburn because of the Askashian. So anyway, I'm not a doctor. Don't just go out and say, hey, Johnny Allen, this guy, on his podcast said this stuff will cure you. No, I'm not. I'm just saying it helps me. I'm just sharing that with you guys. That's a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim that's going to cure you, and look into your own research before you take any of this stuff, right? There you go. I said it for the record. But anyways, what's happening with me? I've been off the podcast, right? Because of my mother passing away. That's the primary thing. I've been helping my dad. As you guys know, I'm a musician. I've been writing some stuff. I'm getting ready to go in the studio tomorrow and finish up 2 pieces of music only. No, it's not a song. It's music only for placements. Hopefully they get into Netflix and things like that. And when that's done, I'll share the pieces of music on the podcast with you guys if you're interested in listening to that. Finishing up these 2 songs we're finishing up tomorrow. One's called The Vikings Charge, which is kind of medieval kind of battle scene music, and which is pretty cool. We actually used clanking swords in the studio for effects. Pretty cool. I'll just let you guys check it out when I put it up later. I'll post it later when it's finished. Another one is called The Act, which is totally different than anything I've ever done in my life, as far as music goes. And I based it on space travel, but we can put it on, you can put it on anything you wanted. So if you're watching a podcast and you produce movies or gaming, you need some kind of audio, look me up. I got a whole library of stuff. I can tell you where to go get it, my publishing company. All right. So that being said, all right. Yeah, got a lot to talk about here. Like I said, I've been out for a while. How's your life been going? Comment below. What do you guys think about, the world situation? It's pretty nutty, right? Is the outcomes of all this stuff going to be good or bad? I have no idea. I really don't. I don't claim to be Nostradamus. There's a lot of people out there I look online that must be Nostradamus. They claim to be Nostradamus. Because I live here in the good old state of Indiana in the US of A. I'm rooting for the Pacers, obviously, because I'm from here. I really don't care at the end of the day who wins, because I don't follow the NBA as much as I used to, but I'm kind of favoring, I like to see the Pacers do it, right? Well, and they're behind right now. They actually played today. We'll see. They got to play or they're out. We got some injuries. They're probably going to be gone. The Thunder's probably going to win, but, we'll see what happens. But at the beginning of the series, this is my example of Nostradamus thinking. At the beginning of the series, I get on the Pacer blog, and all these Thunder people are saying, the Pacers aren't going to win one. They're going to get swept. They're going to get swept. They're going to get swept. They're not going to win one game. They're going to get swept. So I heard this comments several times, so I just said for shits and giggles, I said, wow, you must be Nostradamus. You can predict that. Wow, that's incredible, I don't know how anybody can say, yeah, I'm going to get swept. Well, obviously they didn't get swept. We won 2 games. And if that's the only 2 games we win, we still didn't get swept. So, but not only that, there's a lot of people that are the Nostradamuses of the world, right, that think they know what's going to happen. None of us really know what's going to happen for sure, right? I do believe, I do know this, though, for certain, that none of us are going to live forever. I know that. We're all going to die. And just enjoy life every day that you have, people, because you never know. Sip of coffee to that. So what's been going on with yours? Let me know. So I've been busy. I did a camping trip last week. The wife and I got away for 2 days, Clifty Falls State Park, which was really nice. We camped the 2 days. The only 2 days I think so far this month has been nice, because it's been raining and now it's hot, and raining and hot, raining and hot. That's what it's been in June. It's crazy weather, but we had 2 nice days when we got away. So we were lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it, to have those 2 nice days. But I enjoyed it. I needed to get away. And I'm working on my music right now. I'm semi-retired, trying to spend time with my family. I do 2 little security jobs once in a blue moon, once or twice, maybe 3 times a month. That's it. Been doing some music with a good friend of mine from Las Vegas. They're cover songs. He's called it several different things, Lipstick Lemon, and we don't know what it is. I still call it Lipstick Lemon. That's his name for the group, for the project rather. And all we do is cover songs. We take a cover song and we spin it and kind of make it our own way, and I put some concept videos to it. I'll put a link below if you guys are interested in any of that stuff. The last one we just did was Voices Carry by Till Tuesday, which turned out pretty good. In the process of doing, let's see, let me think here, remember, guys. Allison Chains Tune. I'm doing Down in a Hole, and I'm doing that one on my own. And then Tony has also sent me Jenny, okay, 8675309, the old classic. Going to be working on that in the next few weeks. So we just do some cover songs and just kind of spin them our own way. We've done Led Zeppelin, we've done Pink Floyd, I've done Like a Stone by, Audio Slave. So we're just kind of getting into some of these songs for fun on the side, and then of course I'm creating my own music for my library for Netflix. But I'm in my 60s now, and I don't play in the bands anymore, anything like that. Um, I try every once in a while substituting in my faith worship band at the local church I go to. And I'm primarily a bass player. They wanted to switch me to guitar, and that's kind of bumpy right now. I'm not sure. I've done it 3 times. I'm not sure if I'm going to pursue that or not. I have to give that some more thought because I'm not real comfortable playing guitar. And this is going to the musicians that are out there listening. Let me know how you feel. Comment below. I'm not real comfortable playing guitar live, especially being primarily a bass player. I'm good with playing guitar on my own stuff in the studio, right? This is musician talk for a minute, so people that aren't musicians, just hang on. Anyway, in the studio, you can stop, correct, right? Live, you can't. It's like being out there naked, man. You're exposing yourself. And if you I'm sorry, but if you F up, they're gonna know it, you know. And plus, I've always been the kind of player that I like to play loose. I like to play my own way. Not exactly the way. I've never played a cover exactly the way the original band plays their music. I don't follow it note per note. I just kind of do my own thing, kind of like the great late Eddie Van Halen did when he played covers. He never played it exactly like the original. And that's the way I am. And some people like it, some people don't. But that's just the way I flow. And if some people want it more like the original, it's hard for me to do that. So I'm limited on what I can do live. And I love creating my own music. It's just so much freedom in just doing your own thing. There's no rules. You do it the way you want. People like it or they don't. You know, it's cool. And to wrap up my music conversation with you guys right here is I'm a big Collective Soul fan. Always have been. They're getting ready to release a documentary. Are you guys Collective Soul fans? Answer below, yes or no. If you are, you're going to go get that documentary. I am. I mean, that just sounds so interesting to me. So that's about it with the music. Anything on the music's end, I'll share links below. Anyway, my life's been going pretty good, considering. I do miss my mom. If you've lost a loved one recently, God love you. You know, I pray for you. I feel for you. It's not easy. My mom was a great, wonderful person. She really was. And man, I miss her every day. It's crazy. So I feel for you if you lost a loved one. Just got back just had family visit from Greece. That was wonderful. If you're watching, Dimitris and Skyra. It was wonderful to have you guys here for 2 days or a day and a half. It was a quick visit, but it was nice to be able to see you guys. It was wonderful. Try to get over to the Greece one day. Like I was teasing Dimitris why I could still walk. so I don't get too old, you know, I'm not able to go. I don't want to get too old. But otherwise, life's been pretty good. I am kind of concerned about the world stage. But then again, what can we do about it, right, guys? What can we do about the world stage? There's not much. And, you know, I just got a word of advice. Take it or leave it. Anything I say, you know, you're going to do what you want anyway, but take it or leave it. My advice to the people that are out there rioting and mad, that's not the way to go about it. You know, looting somebody's innocent store and burning cars and stuff is not proving a damn thing. It's not. All you're doing is tearing up somebody's innocent property, right? You got hardworking people that try to start a business. You're in there destroying it. Why? If you want to hold up signs and do it peacefully, don't block roads and keep people from trying to do what they got to do to eat and make, you know, and make money and put a roof over their head. If you're tearing up their businesses, that's no good. It doesn't achieve anything. It just makes the situation worse, and you're interfering with innocent lives. They have nothing to do with it, right? And if you hate the country so bad, just heck, you got the right to go. I know. I see people that put up this no king stuff, and I'm not going to get into that too much, but this young lady posted a thing on Facebook or someplace, I can't even remember, that said, yeah, man, we do, you know, America doesn't need a dictator or a king. And I'm thinking, you know, I know that people think of President Trump as a dictator and king. I obviously see that with some people that think that. But if you want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, we don't have a dictator or a king. If you want to really look at that, if you really want to see a dictator, go to Saudi Arabia, or China or North Korea or Venezuela, for example. Those countries do have a dictator and a quote king, and you got to go there. Did you guys know that, we fled a king 200 and some years ago from England, the monarchy from England, because it's run by a king, to get freedoms? And in America, we don't, no matter how you feel, we don't have a king. And I just found out yesterday from a very good source that he knows quite a bit about everything. That's all I got to say. He's a world traveler. He knows everything. Knows far more about than I do, and probably 90% of my viewing audience and beyond. But anyway, he said that even to this day, they don't quote have the King of England that runs the country, right? Like they did 200 and some years ago. But if you own property in England, you could own the building, but the actual lot that it sits on, you know that the king owns that? The monarchy owns that? You don't own that. At least here in America, you can buy the lot and the home to sit on your lot. Over in England, you don't. You own the home, but you don't own the lot that the home sits on, the plot of land. Just a fun fact there for you. That's that. So we don't live in a dictatorship or a monarchy here, guys. So you might as well just take that propaganda garbage and flush it down the toilet. A lot of people don't. Is Trump a little arrogant? I'm kind of going a little political. Is he arrogant? Is he a little bit narcissistic? Yeah, in my opinion, yeah. He's a New Yorker, He's a New Yorker. If you've ever been to New York, you know how they are, especially Manhattan. He's a New Yorker, okay? He's an East Coaster. Nothing against the East Coast people. I've been out there many times. They just have a different vibe. They think differently. They're pretty, I would say it in the kindness of my heart, saying this in a kind way. They're very confident. That's all I got to say. Very confident, okay? Very confident. And they're going to say exactly what's on their mind. And they don't care who they offend. That's Donald Trump. I mean, that's always been that way. Did you watch The Apprentice? And people will tell me, my friends say, oh yeah, you're a big Trump supporter. I don't support any heads of state. I don't support anybody that represents, that's, the big kahuna, so to speak, that runs the stuff. I just try to look at it. I had this discussion with the relative that came in yesterday. Very nice guy. Very, very worldly as far as like knowing knowledge, okay? And we had a nice discussion about, and him and I agree 100% on this. His policies, and you gotta pick the best policies that's going to work for the overall general public population. And at the end game, what's going to happen in the end game? Do you want a country going this way? Or do you want a country going that way? Which way you want the country to go? So you got to really look at all this stuff. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, I take every source I can get, squash it in this brain of mine, and try to decipher what's real and what isn't. And I look at things very logically. Now, would such and such really seriously do that for this? Would they really? And if they did, what are they going to get out of it? That's what I look at it. If somebody is doing something, or an organization is doing something, there's something behind the scenes, usually, not all the time, but usually there's something behind the scenes that they're really trying to do. And they put this front out there, this is what they're doing, but behind the scenes they're really doing this, right? And there's been a lot of big organizations in the past that have been guilty of that. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good, right? So I come to my own conclusion on everything, no matter what the situation is. What is the underlying situation? What's the underlying cause or the underlying scenario behind whatever this is? That's all I got today, guys. It's kind of good to be back. It's nice to, just do this for 30 minutes. I'm doing okay. For you people that follow my music, I'm getting ready to throw some stuff up there. This podcast platform, I'm just going to do it when I feel like doing it. You're just going to have to hit the subscribe and the notification. It's like, John's been gone for 3 months, but the notification came up, hey, he's back. If you want to hear what I've got to say. So, but that's it. I just hope everybody's doing good. Surviving the weather, surviving the world. And, the world's very delicate right now, right? I mean, it really is. hate to sound like a broken record, but it's more delicate today than it's ever been. We got volcanoes going off, over by the Philippines, like Thailand or someplace. Over there in the Asian world, there's volcanoes going off. There was one in Spain that went. We got some military volcanoes going off, obviously. We got some social volcanoes going off here in the United States. And they always got to do something. I'm just going to close with this. They always got to do something, right? They can't just let well enough be. They have to, I'm going to close actually with this. If we would take all of our energy with all this negative stuff that people do and the money that they do, no matter if it's the military machine or people riding in LA or whatever the situation may be, if we could take like all this negative bad stuff and all the money that's being spent on all this stuff and put it into humanitarian efforts and to helping the people that really need the help, the world would be a much better place, wouldn't it? It would be. We'd have so much money. We didn't have to spend all this millions and billions of dollars on military equipment to kill each other. We'd have so much, and I've said this before, this isn't the first time. The world would be a better place, but, like I said, it's kind of out of my ballpark. I'm just a small little dot on the planet. Anyway, I love you guys and gals out there. Thanks for checking me out for 30 minutes. If you like music, check out my music websites. I appreciate the support. Just take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you again soon. Adios.